Welcome back to Cool Times Podcast, where we talk all things cool about the cold storage construction industry. We are your hosts, Jenna and Vince Free. Jenna, how you doing?
I'm great, babe. How are you today?
I'm actually doing really well. It's exciting times here because it is March 8th and we are in the heart of Women in Construction Week.
Yes, we are.
So I'm going to really let you do all the talking today.
Oh, lucky me.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're a woman in construction, but
Totally.
I mean, we're highlighting our very, very important and famous guest.
Yes, we are.
Who is actually, this is exciting. We are in studio for the first time with our new setup. Our guest today is the regional sales manager from Kingspan Panels, Maggie Christensen.
Welcome.
Hey, Maggie, how are you? Hey, Maggie, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I love it. I even got that on video. You just grab it, like throwing it at your face. It's pretty good.
Got to get it done.
There you go.
Thanks for coming to visit us down here in Texas and be an in-studio guest for the Cool Times Podcast.
Talk about women in construction.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we were excited. We did this last year with Jess Malone at Alston. She was a great guest, and we had you pegged literally 11 months ago. We're like, our next guest next year, 2023, is going to be Maggie, no matter what. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, we're glad we got you. So let's get the party started here, and I want you to tell all of our guests who Maggie is and your background, how you were introduced into the controlled environment industry. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So like all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
We want deets.
Oh, I'll give the deets for sure.
I
For
love
sure.
that story.
I will actually say a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so, I was on an airplane. There's this guy sitting next to me. I was working on a presentation and he was kind of, doing one of those. Like, what exactly are you
looking
doing?
at your stuff?
He sure was.
Creeper.
He was a creeper, but I was working on a presentation.
You need to get a private screen.
I probably should get a private screen.
I have one for my cell phone, but I do need one for my laptop because people always snoop.
But, if anything, I was just teaching him about insulated metal panels. So I was doing him a service
You were.
in flight.
Yes, you were.
So after a while, he asked me, what exactly is it that you do? And I explained, I sell insulated metal panels for cold storage, warehouses, distribution centers, anywhere where food is, packaged or cut, USDA, FDA, and then I went on, clean rooms, battery rooms, all this stuff. And he looked at me and had a completely mocking tone and he said, oh, I bet you just always wanted to do that when you were a little girl. And I said, actually, I did. And I am. And so the joke was kind of on him because,
totally.
Yeah.
My dad was an independent manufacturer's rep for years. I used to sit in his office when I was a little kid and I would just listen to his conversations with customers. I would listen to how, I could only hear the one side of the conversation, so I could tell if it was a, tense or if this was a good conversation.
Of course.
But I would listen to the way that he addressed his customers and the way that he was going to fix the problem. Not sure how, but it will get fixed. I just gravitated to the business, right?
Yeah.
So.
And how old were you at the time?
Oh, at the time, we're talking, I used to go and do a one-coat stucco when he was at trade shows, and he would say, look at this girl, she's 5 and she's doing a one-coat stucco. Right? Can you imagine?
A one-coat stucco.
So I have 3 kids, 4, 14, and 16. I can't even imagine bringing my kids to the trade show and having them, here, let's put some panels together.
Yeah.
But it must have worked. And then, through high school, I would sit in his office and I would continue to listen. And I knew these customers by now. I'd go into their offices with my dad and I gravitated towards it. So following college, I wanted to go and work for my dad. And he wanted something bigger and better than insulated panels for his daughter.
Oh, God.
And I was like, no, this is what I want to do. So he hired me to be his secretary and to answer the phones. There were 2 people in the office. And so he was really just boring me. Like, how bored can we make her?
Is he trying to bore you out of it?
And then she'll never show up. That's exactly what he wanted, right? So one day he came into the office. I brought a laptop from home and I was working on a quote. And she's kind of mocking me. What is it you're doing? And I said, I'm quoting one of my customers. And I handed him this folder and it said, people who hate dad. And I said, I've come up with this list of people who either hate you or you hate them, and so we're not selling to them. So I'm going to cultivate the relationships. They're going to be my customers. Nobody needs to know that you actually own the company.
Yeah.
And these will just be mine. He flipped through and he said, that looks about right. He said, good luck. So that's how I really got started.
Dude, that's insane.
You know, good luck to you, you know. And then I went on the road and I had no idea what I was doing on the road, but
Sure.
I went and saw customers and was just promoting the products and offering the best service that I could, that I had been trained to offer.
Of course.
So I worked for him for about 10 years as an independent rep, selling a variety of panel lines during that time.
Sure.
As independents do, they lose and gain contracts.
Sure, sure.
And then Kingspan came 10 years ago in March.
Wow.
Or I'm sorry, May. 10 years ago in May.
It's been that long.
And
Wow.
time flies when you're having
It
fun.
It'll be
does.
10 years for us in May too, babe.
Oh my gosh, I will
Oh.
remember this.
Half heart me.
Gosh. So back to cold storage.
Yeah.
Long story short, Kingspan came. They had been looking for someone to fill the territory that my dad's company had left a few years back. And
You became his competitor?
I became his competitor.
Get out of here.
Direct competitor, calling on the same customers.
He trains you, teaches you how to be lethal. Not that you need to train him on that. And all of a sudden you just start selling against him. Whoa.
Yeah, well,
How was your Thanksgivings?
Thanksgivings are fabulous. We talk about politics and religion, and those are the two things that we see completely eye to eye
Oh,
on.
there you go.
So we don't talk about business, but yeah, we were going out, we were stealing jobs from each other, and I would love nothing more than to steal a job from him, and he would love nothing more than to steal one from me.
Healthy competition.
Very good.
That's
Yes.
epic.
Yes.
I wish I had that. I'm just kidding. I do.
You have a lot of that.
My wife is my competition. Everything we do, we compete. It's great. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, you know what they say about better half.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
just
I'm
leave
right
it there.
so Kingspan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 10 plus years Kingspan.
10 years in May.
So for all of our old and new listeners, who is Kingspan?
Kingspan. Yeah. Kingspan is the largest manufacturer of insulated metal panels globally.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have over
Around the world.
around the world. Yes, we are not just right here in North America.
Yeah.
In fact, the North America acquisitions were some of the later ones that they did for panel companies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kingspan panels in the UK and Europe.
Huge
Asia,
in Europe.
huge.
Yeah.
Australia, huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
So coming into North America, this was, they wanted to come in and do the same thing in North America that they had done in the other countries. So there's over 19,000 employees with
Wow.
Kingspan globally.
Okay.
We have 198 manufacturing facilities.
Holy cow.
And that's not necessarily just panels. It could be a variety of things. We have light and air, we have our, safeties, our bollards and goalposts and
I
all
was
of
going to
that.
ask you about that. I was
Yeah.
driving to our project in Terrell, Texas, and I drove right by a warehouse that had said Kingspan on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are they making there?
Well,
They're not making panels in Terrell, Texas. What are they making in Terrell, Texas?
I don't know.
think
Let's
it's
find out.
your
Let's
bollard. I think it's your bollard
We could
safety.
find
I
out.
don't know.
We
We're going to
could
Google it. Continue. More about Kingspan.
More about Kingspan, absolutely. So Kingspan within North America, though, bringing it back here, we have 3 divisions.
Okay.
We have the controlled environments, formerly called cold storage, but that's evolving so much now that it's not just cold storage.
Right.
And then we have our industrial division and our benchmark high-end architectural division as well.
Okay.
And those are panels you see on schools, banks, churches.
The commercial panels, the
Yeah.
industrial, you'll see those on anything really that's not cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then the benchmark architectural brand is oftentimes added into, say, a new facility that is a food manufacturer
Sure.
for the office front.
Yeah.
So they want those, they want that
Nice.
street appeal to look and really stand out. They don't want the white buildings anymore that you were seeing, just a white building
Oh,
on
yeah.
the side of the interstate. They want those office fronts really to grab your attention
Yeah.
and to show that richness.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they are cool looking.
Very.
They are really cool
Yeah.
looking.
they are. I Googled it. Kingspan Light and Air
Okay.
in Terrell, Texas.
Yes.
Yeah. Saw
Yes.
it. Saw it.
So-
Oh, nice.
So those are, so with the light air, we're talking about like translucent panels.
Mhm.
We have a facility in Illinois that we acquired a few years back. It was originally called CPI, and they make translucent panels with an extrusion that is designed to fit in with the shadow line panel.
Wow.
So let's say you're doing, like I've seen one where it was a indoor swimming pool.
Okay.
So they wanted a lot of natural light. They have, panels. Then
Sure.
they'll have the translucent panel,
Yeah.
a panel. So they're letting light in. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a really cool thing to be able to add that depth on certain types of projects.
Dude,
That
that's
sounds really cool.
really good. You guys have a great wide variety of products for sure.
We do. Mm-hmm.
More about Kingspan. So,
Yeah.
how many plants are making panels in the United States?
In the United States, we have our DeLand, Florida. We also have the Modesto, California.
Yeah.
We have Benchmark made in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Okay.
So those are made in the U.S. And then we have a Toronto facility and then Langley, British Columbia.
Which is essentially U.S. I mean, you could throw a
Essentially.
football in the United States.
You could, yes.
Well, Josh Allen could.
I was going to say, did you?
I couldn't. No. Brett Favre could do it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he could. Well, that's awesome. So, regional sales manager, covering a territory, Midwest.
Midwest,
Nice.
yes.
And
Yes.
how many regional sales managers does Kingspan have for the controlled environment?
There are 5
Yeah.
employees
Mhm.
and then there are 2 independents.
Okay.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So you guys still have some reps, right?
Yes.
Independent reps,
Yes.
and that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
we do.
Very cool.
What is something maybe exciting happening at Kingspan that either started happening a while ago or it's coming to fruition now? I mean, you've been there for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
What's something exciting that you're excited about for the company?
It's almost like there's so many exciting things
Mhm.
that are coming up,
Mhm.
a little bit of this or a little bit of that it really, really energizes me. So, initially we had the quad core foam that
Sure.
came out and that was just a game changer in the industry.
Yeah.
Has a higher thermal performance, higher fire performance, only panel with 4882 in North America. So that's for smoke spread and occupancy facilities.
Yes.
So that black billowing smoke that would destroy anything within the warehouse, this panel does not produce that.
Wow.
Also, it has all of the health and wellness, so it's cradle to cradle certified in Green Guard Gold, which we talked about at
Yeah.
dinner last night.
We did.
When I said Green Guard Gold, you perked up and you said, "Are
What's
you
Green
kidding
Guard
me?"
Gold?
No, you said,
You're
Amazing.
excited about
you
it.
said, "I know all about Green Guard Gold."
When you say that, so like when a warehouse were to start on fire, like the fire is not damaging the product, the smoke is, right?
Right.
The black billowing smoke
Yes.
is. So the quad core panel is a huge advantage over a conventional IMP panel,
Right.
right? Because it's not going
Very
to
low smoke development.
low smoke.
Very low
Got it.
smoke. And like I said, with the health and wellness, owners are taking account of the spaces that the spaces that their employees are spending all of their time in,
Yeah.
right?
They are.
And so building buildings where those owners know that all of those red list items from the EPA have been removed, that this is, the safest panel that we could build this building out of, that's really important.
Yeah.
And then also with quad core, it does have a 30-year thermal performance warranty.
Wow.
So with that one, you're talking about an aged R value. You hear
Absolutely.
people say, the R value will age. We do stand by that 30-year thermal performance warranty. So that's really huge, but that's
Huge.
That's
That
super
was-
exciting.
it's so exciting, but that's kind of just one part because then that rolls into our Planet Passionate. And our Planet Passionate is a very ambitious 10-year goal that we have at Kingspan to make a really substantial impact on the earth,
Yeah.
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
So building materials and construction materials, they represent 11% of landfill. Landfill, I'm sorry. 11%. So, I mean, when you're thinking about that,
It's a lot.
that is a lot. So what can we do to reduce that? And so that is our Planet Passionate. And we're doing this across all of our companies, because we do acquire a lot of companies under the Kingspan
Sure.
group. Every company has to meet these goals, and they are ambitious.
Sure.
I wrote some of them down because I wanted to make sure I had these facts correct for you.
Fire away.
Yes.
Most importantly, though, what I always point out is that our panel, the Kingspan panel with quad core, has the lowest embodied carbon of any panel in North America.
Oh, wow.
That's really, really substantial, and architects are really noticing that, and we're getting a lot of traction when they're, because as you know, when buildings are designed, this is a long process.
Mhm.
So choosing those smarter products have to be done early on in that development process.
Yeah.
So the initiatives that we have, net zero carbon manufacturing by 2030,
Wow.
all of our facilities,
Wow.
That's
every
incredible.
single one. 50% reduction in CO2 intensity from our supply partners. Now, this one's interesting because it doesn't do any good for us to have all these goals and we're meeting them, and then we're buying the dirtiest steel that you could possibly acquire, right?
Yeah.
So we're teaming up with companies that are like-minded with us,
Yeah.
so that together we help ourselves achieve those goals.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
I help them, they help us. So it works really, really well to make sure that we have the right partners in our supply chain
Yeah.
lined up.
There's got to be an advantage to that. Being
yes.
as big as you are,
Oh,
there's a thing called buying power, right?
Yes.
So you're global, Kingspan Global, they have to have this huge network or buying power to outsource things from, right?
Right.
The top of the line people and stuff, right?
Right. So with that nice segue, and you didn't even know you were doing it.
I have no idea.
You didn't.
We are live here. No, just kidding.
One of the companies.
Hang on. Okay, go ahead.
I love the new soundboard.
Thank you.
I've been told that there's a banner that runs at the UK facility just outside of Jean Murtaugh, our leader's office, that shows where we are in meeting those goals. So this is
Wow.
something that it isn't just, we put it down on paper, we
And
blast
stop
something,
talking about it.
and
yeah.
we're done talking about it. No, there are people every single day that are making sure that we are working towards the goals and making the right decisions to meet those.
You have receipts.
We do have receipts.
I love it.
Dude, that's
I love
amazing.
it. That's so cool.
Well, you already said so many things about questions I was going to ask you later on in the segment,
Okay.
but we can get into that later.
We can.
But I mean, Women in Construction Week. So, I mean, this is awesome. I'm surrounded by two powerhouse women, by the way, between Maggie and Jenna. I'm a little intimidated. I had dinner the other night. I mean, we were literally talking about women being in construction and how cool it is because, let's be real, as I said, women are smarter than men. I
said
think
it.
women are smarter than men. I think they handle situations better.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we support it.
We do
Yeah.
support your opinion
Now,
wholeheartedly.
like we're better at other things like taking out the garbage and doing what we're told to do from our
You
wives.
did real good with that this morning. Thank you so much.
We got so many jokes.
Okay, anyways, but yes, okay, so you grew up as a woman in construction.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what was that experience like being a woman growing up? Because it's generally been a male dominated industry.
For sure.
We're seeing more and more women come in, which is so cool.
Yes.
I love it. But you, from 5 years old to now, have been a part of it. So tell me a little bit about what your experience has been being a woman in this industry.
It's an interesting question because I think I had a little bit of an advantage coming in, having my father, already established and definitely introduced me to the right people. What I will say is I didn't have, doors weren't slammed in my face or anything like that.
Yeah.
Everyone that I have ever worked with has been very professional. If anything, I would say that sometimes I don't get the respect of the knowledge that I have that I'm trying to explain to somebody, because that's a huge part of my job.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is educating customers. We were talking about it at dinner last night.
Yeah, of course.
Part of my job is helping you to differentiate yourself when you're going after a job. And so I have things that I can offer for that, right? So I would say that I had an advantage knowing a lot of the customers. You know, it would have been new customers when I went out on my own, because I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to Chicago. I'm going to go see what's going on there. I'm going to go sell panels. And it was slow, but they didn't know me. And so I definitely had to prove myself, which I don't mind. I don't, nothing should be given to me. And I believe I earned the respect that I have now because I put the time in. And I know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, you've been putting time in since you were 5,
It's a long time.
to those conversations. I mean, I grew up in a construction family as well. So I remember listening and just like kind of absorbing those conversations that were happening between, my dad, who was the construction owner, and then my mom helped run the business with him. And so listening to their conversations, listening to how they talk to their customers, like, I do think it provides us a foundation through which we could step into this industry should we choose. So, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Do you think there's any specific like qualities or characteristics that women in general bring to our industry that like adds a, value or a different spin on things?
Yeah. And I don't want to generalize because all women are different. But just looking specifically on my team, I really kind of take on like the mom role, and not, I'm not doting on people, but I'm very compassionate. Sure. And I think that those traits that I have as a mom, a compassionate person, I'm not going to leave you hanging high and dry. It's not okay with me at 5 o'clock if you didn't get your answer. Like, for me, I would say that there's just a level of compassion that I have with all of my customers. And, sometimes I'll hang up the phone and say, okay, bye, honey, hang up the phone, because a lot of these customers I'm talking to they're really good friends.
Yeah.
And, and you can have, that maybe a little closer relationship with them when you're talking with them, where I'm sure some of, my male colleagues don't hang up the phone the same way.
Bye, honey. No,
I hang up the phone with our guys all the time. Say, all right, love you, bye.
Yeah. He does do that.
I do that, but it's usually by mistake, and it's always with the same person. They always laugh. So maybe deep down there is a nice platonic love there.
No, there is. I mean, you speak to the industry, and you speak to how small our cold storage construction family is.
Very small.
And most people know everybody, and I think we all respect one another, and it is hard to earn respect to someone new, though. I mean, even what I tell Jenna the story all the time, growing up when I first got in the industry, my first sales call was with a chief engineer at a cold storage plant, and he was, probably in his later 60s, but super knowledgeable. You could tell he's just got grease on his fingers. He's working on something in his little office area, and I tried to sell him equipment, and the only thing I had was my technical knowledge and working in the warehouse, understanding the nuts and bolts of it. But like, he just looks at you and like, what school bus route do you off, son? Like, you're not going to come in here and tell me anything I don't know. So I'm assuming like even for a woman in construction, unfortunately they get that bad, first impression, like, okay, here we go. Like, what does she know that I don't know?
Right.
Know?
Right. Well, and so when I do my presentations to new groups, I usually tell that introductory story so that they know I didn't just like, fill out an application from Indeed and lo and behold, I'm the
went on their website, read a couple,
Yes, I was
like,
I'd like to do this. I think I could figure it out.
No.
Yeah.
You got to create that credibility for sure, no matter what.
Would you say there's been any challenges you've faced being a woman in construction?
You know what? Myself, I really don't see that. And that's exciting for me to say.
It's very exciting.
I don't see it. I'd like to see more women
Yes.
in construction
Mhm.
because, again, we think differently.
Yeah.
We think differently, and I think that we would then approach a situation differently. Not that it's better than how a man would do it, but it's how we would do it.
Sure.
And so for me, if I were to try to do the way that Vince does something,
Mhm.
well, that's not going to be organic and natural for me. And more than anything, when I'm in front of customers, I want them to see that I'm very comfortable
Yeah.
and I know what I'm talking about. But more than anything, I'm here to help you. I'm
Mhm.
here to educate you because my dad did teach me one thing. Well, a lot of things, actually.
Sure.
Let's give credit where credit is deserved.
Yeah.
But the one thing that has always stuck with me was you can't just walk into a customer's office and expect them to have you sit down and just stop what they're doing and talk with you.
Right.
You have to bring them something new.
Mhm.
And you have to bring them something that's of value to them
Mhm.
that they're going to want to hear about.
That makes them want to stop
Yes.
doing what they're doing and take the time to be like, oh, what is this?
Yes.
Let me learn more.
So
Sure.
I think I did a few of those initial hi, I'm the new regional sales manager, and I got about to the, the front reception desk.
Mhm.
It has obviously
Happens.
evolved since. It happens. It happens.
Yes.
But no, I don't think that there has been anything that I can really think of that's been negative other than, wanting to see a few more female faces around.
Well, speaking of, promoting females in our industry, you are involved in some committees with CEBA, Controlled Environment Building Association. And you want to talk a little bit about the committee and kind of what you're spearheading right now and what that's all about, what that means to you?
Yeah. So I am co-chairing the Business Development Committee with Sam Titman.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the idea of that is we want more people at CEBA. We want to know how we can make CEBA a better experience, how we can, increase the membership and the attendance. Within that, I brought an idea to the team last summer to have something along the lines of a Women of CEBA.
Yeah.
And this came from a conversation with an architect.
Okay.
I was talking with her about, I think a spec was regurgitated and old. And
Was it Kate?
And no, it wasn't
No?
Kate. No, it wasn't Kate. But this spec was just ancient and needed to be, put to rest.
Yes.
I called her and we talked, and the conversation progressed past that, and she just started asking questions. I thought, I love this.
Mhm.
I love this so much. And she said, I'm going to put your name in my phone as IMP expert, which I kind of giggled a little bit to myself because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But what she was saying to me was no one had ever sat down and explained things to her the way that I had.
Mhm.
And, we're not just talking, white panels. It depends what finish you put on those panels and where those panels are going to be. There's a lot of factors outside of just building the building. Those finishing details are really, really important. And so after I got off the phone with her, I thought to myself, you know what? There's some really amazing women doing some really amazing things. We rarely hear about it,
Mhm.
right? In
Yeah.
my circle, you just
Sure.
don't hear about it a lot.
Yep.
I was at another conference in the fall where Carrie Foods was awarded the Sustainability Award for their project in, I believe it was 20 or 21. Did you see anything about that?
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't do the job, but I saw it.
Right. I know you did. My point to that is I sat there and listened to these three ladies talking about, one was the sustainability, one was the project manager, maybe one was the project engineer, I don't remember. They were phenomenal. And they talked about building this plant, this, sustainable facility during the pandemic, no delays. I mean, it was really, really cool to hear these three women
Yeah.
up on stage talking about this. And never before have I walked up afterwards and wanted to talk to the speakers, but I was right there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I love it. Everything you said
Totally.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then that kind of rolled into, we need to see more women that are
Yeah.
doing these amazing projects.
Yeah.
And so when I presented it in November at CEBA to the business development group, it was, listen, I know you guys all have someone within your organization that's either just an absolute kick-ass PM or, project engineer, whatever it might be. And they're building some really impressive things. You guys need to showcase those women.
Totally.
And it was received really well. And I'm excited. Now, it kind of came on late in the year last year. We didn't have time to roll it out, but we're going to roll it out for SIBA 2023. And I think it's really going to be exciting.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I love that. I love seeing, because I even feel like in the years that I've been going with Vince, because before we even started our company, we were attending these trade shows. I see more and more women being a part of this now and being a part of these conversations. And it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
It does.
So
It does. And I had talked to GCCA when I first had the idea, and I said, tell me how many women were enrolled for the last SIBA that aren't wives.
Yeah.
It was 8.
8?
8.
How do you get that to 18 this year?
Well, that was, and I'm thinking it was maybe the year before. Maybe it was 19. Regardless, the number for last year was much higher.
yes.
I don't know what that number was,
Okay.
but it was much higher, even though we had our very short
Our day and a half
SIBA,
conference.
our
and then-
day and a half conference of SIBA, which was great.
And then the hurricane that never happened.
Never
came and hit.
happened. Yeah.
Yes.
Kick this out.
Yeah.
Get out of the hotel. You have till 2. Get your stuff.
The bridge is going to flood.
Yeah.
You gotta get out of
We're
here.
closing the bridge. Which is crazy because there's 2 bridges into Amelia Island and they're like, well, if the winds get so high you can't leave. And it's like they're like, well, we can't officially kick you out of the hotel.
Yeah.
We can't kick you out, but there's gonna be no staff here.
Right.
So you're gonna have to stay in your room. Like what?
No food. No
Yeah.
nothing.
No food.
No
no
drink,
nothing.
thank you.
No,
No.
anything.
No.
Maybe vending machine food. That's it. I'm like,
I'll
yeah,
go inland.
No.
I'm fine.
We're leaving. It was chaos because everyone was calling Ubers and transportation and changing flights. We drove to where did we drive to?
Charlotte.
No, not Charlotte.
No?
South Carolina. We flew out. We drove.
Charleston.
Was it Charleston? Had to
I
be.
can't remember where we flew out of.
We drove 2.5 hours and flew out of there. I mean, that was the
Yeah.
only flights that we could get out of there.
Yeah.
People were driving back to Atlanta.
Yes.
I mean, it was nuts.
Crazy.
But we're not going to have that this year because this year we're going to the beautiful Omnia in Palm Springs.
Oh, that sounds
So nothing is going to happen where they're going to cancel it.
That sounds
Knock on
wonderful.
Right?
Knock on wood, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So getting back to panels and Kingspan, when I love asking this question because I'm a sales guy, but I feel like you already answered the question, but I'm going to ask you anyways.
Okay.
Why would someone buy Kingspan over anyone else, or why would someone buy from Maggie?
Right. Well, that's a 2-parter.
It is.
I'll
Why would someone buy from Maggie?
tell you why
do the
people
Maggie
buy
question.
from Maggie.
Yeah.
Like I said, I give a level of customer service
Mhm.
that I think is unmatched with my competitors. I just won a project that I wasn't high on, and I was told by a third party that was involved in it, and he said, you weren't low on the project, but you were so fast. You turned that quote around. You answered all of our questions. You had this to us and this, you overnighted that to us. And we just knew that we had to give you the order because you were taking this very seriously and you wanted the order. And I said, I did. And that's how you have to get the order. You have to work hard. You have to hustle for it. So I would say I have a level of hustle that
Yeah.
it's up there.
Absolutely.
I'm also working, to brand myself and have a bigger presence on LinkedIn and
Sure.
offering small training sessions.
Yeah.
I just finished my training session. It's 15 minutes on finishes.
Yeah.
Why you use them, here they are, here's
That's
the
awesome.
samples. I have another one coming up that's going to be quad core. These are just 15 minutes here. I'm going to tell you all about quad core. I'll send you the info and you're good.
Nice.
And then the next one I'm going to do is Planet Passionate. And so, sometimes it's hard to get these offices to get, 15, 20 guys in a room and gals
Yeah.
in a room to do a lunch and learn, right?
Totally.
They have 15 minutes. You can just log in. I'm going to give you the info and then I'm going to send you an email with everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's really, that has helped me tremendously because I'm getting contacted by people outside of my territory that are just like, hey, I've been following you. Can you send me this and this? And yes,
Yeah, of course.
we will get you
Absolutely.
100% set up.
Yeah.
Why should you buy from Kingspan though direct? I mean, if you want to get down to just the real basics, it's the lowest embodied carbon panel in North America.
Mm-hmm.
And from a sustainability perspective, you're going to see more and more and more of clients wanting to have either a sustainable build,
Yep.
or they want to find the products that are the absolute safest.
I was going to say
you know,
safest, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of trying to find the right word for it.
So
but
you're rolling the quad core out. It's not a standard yet. Is it going to be? Are you able to talk about that?
I can talk about it.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Let's talk.
Let's do it.
So right now, our Caledon facility, which is a stone's throw from Detroit,
Sure.
that facility is currently producing all cold storage panels 4 inches to 8 inches with quad core.
Wow.
There's no cost with that. We will eventually start and transition all the plants. That will be our standard
That's it.
foam.
Wow.
Is it standard in Europe right now?
It is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. So we have them out of Caledon. So if you guys have a project that you're quoting out of that area, you're
Yeah.
going to just automatically,
Yeah.
you're going to
You're
get,
just going to start getting it.
you're just going to get it.
Yeah.
And we talked about it last night.
Yeah.
It's gray.
Yeah.
So you know you have it.
Yeah. We should talk about board foam though, because I know Kingspan has a board foam as well. Green
do.
Guard.
Green Guard.
So let's talk Green Guard.
Yes, it's green because we're Irish.
Well, thought you were gonna say because it's clean, it's environmental friendly, so we made it green.
Sure.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. We're also Irish.
Yeah.
We're an Irish company.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, we do have a proprietary insulation board. It's called Green Guard.
Mhm.
Currently being produced in Winchester, Virginia.
Okay.
And we have made an acquisition of the old Diversifoam facility in Rockford, Minnesota.
Okay.
Do you remember the yellow board?
I don't remember the other
Okay.
board, but
Yeah.
okay.
So we've acquired that plant.
And you're gonna
And-
start making it out of there.
We're going to start making it out of there.
Right.
We're still tweaking the lines and,
Sure.
bringing in a completely different product does take some time. But for the Midwest, we'll be able to feed into the Midwest
Awesome.
projects right there from Minnesota. And that's going to be a great advantage.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah. And we have it in 30 and 40
Right. 30
PSI,
PSI, 40
and
PSI.
60 as well.
And 60. Got it. Custom thicknesses, because I know the average is 2, 3, and 4. Are you doing 2.5, 3.5, or no? Or not sure?
I'm not sure.
I know. I think some other. I think a lot of people are cutting that custom stuff out just because how crazy it got.
Right.
I mean, during the pandemic and the supply chain shortage stuff,
Allocations and
it got nuts.
oh yeah.
I mean, next part of our show is our cool moment segment, which is sponsored by Versafoam.
Oh yes.
Versafoam is our go-to spray foam, filling in the gaps with their System 15 foam packs from our good friend Peter Bartel,
Yes, Peter, thank you.
Shout out to Peter.
who we yet have to get to Texas to get on this show. Peter would be an absolute monster on this show.
He'd be a hoot.
We would have to give him his famous drink, right?
Yes, of course.
Like his club soda and tonic with a splash of crayon. Like he loves that,
Club soda and tonic.
I'm sorry, vodka.
You're not
Cheetos.
making his drink for him.
I was like, doesn't sound great, but
Yeah, wait a
I'll
minute,
try
wait
it.
You deserve that.
Yeah.
You deserve that.
It's vodka club soda, splash of lime,
Splash of crayon.
Yeah.
or a splash of crayon with the lime. He has to have lime. Sometimes he puts a couple 2, 3 in there, But
He was also on Blueberry Stoli for a while, wasn't
yeah, he does like blueberry still.
he? See,
But a lot of people
this
don't
is why you
have
keep
that.
me around. I remember the details.
That's why I keep you
Yes.
around. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, anyways.
Okay, back to our
Cool moment, sponsored by Versafoam. Maggie, tell us anything you want from 15 years ago to up to today. Cool moment in the industry that just has stuck with you. Tell us a story. Give us a cool moment.
This one I didn't even have to think about. I knew this one right away.
Okay.
So when I first went to, it was in IASIC, my very first convention that I'd ever been able to attend. It was a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
being able to go, that was really big. I went head to head with my dad and the usual suspects that you would assume would have been around the bar at that time. all night long, drink for drink. And I was rocking. I was on fire. I was going to love this convention. It was going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So the next morning, I looked like $1 million. I mean, I got ready, hair, makeup, everything to the nines. I could not take 2 or 3 steps without getting sick. And so I was not able to go down to the expo.
Oh no.
It was one of those where it's like, okay, just sit calm. You'll be able to do it.
Just give yourself a minute.
Yeah.
You can do
this.
Come on, you can do this. You got to rally. So I show up a few hours later. Yeah, I had to go sleep it off a little bit longer.
I feel like that was my last week Tuesday, but go ahead.
Was it, baby?
No.
Well, in comes who I have always affectionately called Uncle Jeff. This is Jeff Weirson.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Jeff was a dear friend to my dad and to our family. And all of my brothers and sisters call him Uncle Jeff.
Yeah.
So he comes up to me and he is pissed. And to disappoint him was not a good thing for me. I felt really badly about that. And he said, "This is your first show. You need to get down here. I don't care what you did last night. I don't care who you hung out with last night, but you need to show up and you need to represent." As he's sweating profusely from the night before. And I said, "I think you need to go to bed. I don't think you should be on the floor."
Yes, 100%.
So you have to show up.
Yep.
Yes.
That was the lesson that I've always taken with me. A little less sweating would have gotten the point across a little bit better, but it was hilarious.
I love that.
So funny. I do feel like that happens. So I feel like we all work so hard when we're, at home. Like some of us, we can't turn it off.
Yes.
Anyways, some of us can't turn it off. So that when we finally get to this trade show, we're just like so excited and we're feeding off everyone's energy. And like, you're like, whoa, how much have I had to drink? I've had too many drinks. I need to go to bed.
It's the first night. The first night is the hardest because
we're so excited.
We're all excited to see everybody.
Yes.
That's the hardest night to like really just hone it in. But yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah.
And when I was a rookie going to IASICS at the time before it was SIBA, I mean, the bar is where you make a lot of the relationships and create the stories and
people.
And my boss at the time, Chuck Zimmerman's like, "I don't care what you do tonight." And he told me this the day before. He's like, "I don't care what you do tonight. I will see you at the booth at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so 7:30 came quick.
Yes.
I would remember seeing like, I worked with Luke Wade at the time at ASI and he would come down and he just looked like a pile of crap. I'm sorry, Luke, I'm calling you out here, but I mean, he looked terrible. I'm like, "Bro, you need a Tylenol or anything?" He's sweaty.
Like a Tylenol was going to be that.
He needed a Bloody Mary. Well, it's women in construction, so I'm going to turn this over to you, Jenna. What is your cool moment in the industry?
There's so many.
Tell a trade show story.
A trade show story?
Sure.
Do you have one in mind? Like, I feel like you're looking at me like, I want you to tell this one.
I don't.
I think a cool moment for me was we were out to dinner once. And this was back when you were selling doors. And we were out to dinner with some clients and Steve Hansen.
I love that, man.
He asked me, this was when we were first getting to know each other. So this had to be back in early 2000s, like 2000.
I think I know where you're going with this. This is 2000. Yeah, this is about 08
or 09.
Yeah.
I had just started coming with him to these events. And Steve asks me one night, he's like, "So do you even like know what Vince does? Like, do you even understand?" Like, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, you sell like garage doors."
Sure we do.
A lot of people used to say that.
Right.
Like, yeah, I got a couple of garage doors that are a little messed up. You come by and take a look at it. I'm like, yeah, don't.
He doesn't
No.
do
Sorry.
that. So it was really, it was a question I had actually gotten before. And so I looked at Steve and I was like, "Well, yeah, of course I do." I was like, "What kind of door do you want to talk about? Roll up, breakaway, or air doors? Like, which do you want to talk about?"
His face was like, "Holy crap!" Like you know all of these doors. Like,
Right.
why do you know about these doors?
Well,
Like,
and I just listen. Like
Yeah.
I would sometimes I would travel with him on some of his sales calls when I had time off work. I would go with him and he would teach me about what he was selling to people.
Sure.
And probably like you absorbed from
Yeah.
your dad, I fell into that absorbing what is it? Okay, why would someone want this one over this one? And what does this one do? And
Right.
I just wanted to understand it. So for me, that was a really cool moment because I was like, oh no, I got this. I do know what he does.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
And it was
good.
fun.
It was good.
It was really fun.
It's really
So.
good.
It was a good moment for me.
Well, that's a great moment for you because you hit that one out of the park.
Thank you. It was super fun.
She did good. Proud of you.
You taught me well, babe. So, okay. Where, Maggie, can people find out more about you
Mhm.
and more about Kingspan and what Kingspan's doing? Like if our listeners want to go and see about, this mission that you guys are on, Planet Passion,
Yes.
if they want to find out more about that, read about it, where do they go to find out about this, to find you? Like,
Where can we find Maggie on the line?
Yeah. Yeah. Maggie's on the line. LinkedIn.
Okay.
I try to be very active on LinkedIn, very responsive.
Mhm.
If you want to, reach out directly, do you want my contact information?
That's up to you if you want to provide it
Yeah.
or not.
Some people share their cell and email on here, and if you don't want to, we can also put it in the
show notes.
the show notes.
Yeah.
So-
I'd say just put it in the show notes because my last name has a lot of letters.
Yeah,
And it does,
absolutely.
my
You
email
don't wanna
does
spend
not.
time
We'll,
spelling
not
we'll
out.
drop
on-
we'll drop your email in the show notes so people know how to get a hold of you. We'll tag you when we post the, when we're live now. We post it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We'll post and we'll tag you. So yeah,
Exciting.
people are gonna find you.
Oh, they will find me.
Be ready.
Yes. Oh, I am ready. I am ready.
They-
Very little scares me.
There you go. Well, I want to be cognizant of your time, and we are getting to the last part of the show, our cool rapid round segment, where I get to ask you whatever I want.
Yes.
You have to answer
Yes.
this or that, and
Okay.
this is also sponsored by our good friends at Versafoam. So, and you've been waiting for this one.
I have been.
Ian,
Because you
Ian,
asked if there was anything off limits. So I'm like, let's go. What do you got?
we do ask our guests if there's anything off limits
We do.
on the show.
Yeah, we do.
Because there's some things you don't want to talk about, and
Well, and I feel like because, like we said, our industry is so small, we know each other personally.
Right.
Like we know each other's personal stories, and like so we do have to be cognizant of that.
Of course.
Like this is a professional setting,
Yes.
even though we all have personal relationships. So
I'm not going to ask you about your competitors, so don't worry.
It's
This
okay.
is going to be completely off of the industry, and it's
Okay.
going to be totally things that we are going to get to know more about Maggie on a personal level.
Wonderful.
Okay, here we go. Camping or glamping?
Camping.
Camping?
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Yeah.
Cooking or being cooked for?
it's
I
hard.
really want to say Grubhub, but
That's technically
Be
being.
cooked for.
That's technically being cooked
I
for.
like to be cooked for.
Yeah, that's
I'm
being
doing.
cooked
I'm doing far enough of everything else.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I like it. I like it.
Are you attend a party or host a party?
Attend.
Mhm.
Cash or credit?
Credit.
Espresso or drip coffee?
Drip coffee.
Hot coffee or iced coffee?
Hot.
Reality shows or documentaries?
Documentaries.
Bad haircut or bad dye job on your hair?
Ooh.
Ooh.
What's worse?
Well, you really can't see my haircut, so I would
We
say
can see it. If you're on YouTube right now, we can see it all.
It looks good.
It does.
Thank you.
It looks great.
I would say bad haircut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, the color is the color,
You
right?
can change, like you could go back for like a quick fix with
Right.
color.
Yeah.
Like if they cut,
You
like
cut it off.
you're just you gotta wait till it grows back.
Yeah,
do.
you're waiting. True that. All right, ketchup or ranch?
Ranch.
Phone in the bathroom or no phone in the bathroom?
Okay, I'm gonna say phone in the bathroom.
Yes.
But there's a story to that real quick if I could tell you.
Yeah.
100%.
you
Of
can.
course.
I never know where my phone is. I have a little touch of the ADHD, and so you'll always hear me saying, does anybody know where my phone is? Anybody? You hear it every day in my house. My husband will find it in the garage on his workbench.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be found like on top of the refrigerator. So if it's in the bathroom, I might have just walked in the bathroom and thought,
Sure.
I'm going to set this down here.
Totally.
Got it.
Okay. Fair enough. Crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter?
Smooth.
Smooth peanut butter.
Same.
Awesome. I know you're dry now. You don't drink anymore. But I do have, but you used to.
Mm-hmm.
So you know.
Really well.
Really well. Are you, so I'm going to ask, back in the day, Maggie,
Sure.
would you be a cold drink or cold beer?
Where am I at?
Gotta
See,
pick.
it does make a difference.
It does.
Cold drink or cold beer? You gotta
Beer.
pick. If you,
Beer.
the rest of your life, you can only pick one or the other.
Beer.
A beer.
Yeah.
There you go.
Stella.
A Stella.
Ooh,
Ah,
good one.
there you go. I like that. Let me think here. Beachside or poolside?
Beach.
Beach. I like it.
In Nebraska, we get a lot of that.
In the Midwest, we get a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. Ground up project or a box and box project?
Ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I like the complexity.
okay.
Yeah.
I like the box and box because it's so cool to see like the ceiling tees and all the panel joints lined up and like it's so clean looking and it's really cool.
Okay. See, now I've never thought about it that way. So now I'll have to look at it from that angle next
Yeah.
time.
But I mean, you guys did like post recently on LinkedIn a really cool, like it was a battery plant you guys did.
Yeah.
And like the exterior panels and the benchmarks, that was badass looking, by
It's
the way.
badass.
It is
yeah.
badass. So I can see why you would say like ground up, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
exterior. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that piece. Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber?
Timberlake.
Timberlake it is. Awesome.
You're so pleased with that answer.
Awesome. Yeah. So Maggie, that ends our time here. Do you want to add anything for our guests and listeners?
I would just say to anyone listening to keep an eye on my LinkedIn because I am going to have those training sessions coming up.
Awesome.
You don't have to be my customer. You don't have to be in the Midwest. In fact, most of the finished trainings that I just finished up
Mhm.
were done for outside territories of the Midwest. And, you know, for me, I'd like to also kind of double as a business development manager. If I can help my coworkers
Yeah.
with this project because I've already interacted, no problem.
That's awesome.
So keep an eye on LinkedIn.
I love
Yes.
that.
We'll have some fun stuff coming up.
I love that.
I love it.
Thank you, Maggie, for
Thank
your
you for
time
being here.
so much. You've been an
Thank
awesome guest. And for all of our listeners, thank you so much for listening to us on the Cool Times podcast.
Yes, thank you.
You guys can find our work on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To listen to the full show on your iPhone, Apple Podcasts, subscribe to our show, YouTube Cool Times Podcast. Hit the red button to subscribe. And Maggie, you've been an awesome guest in Women in Construction. You're a badass, and we love you. And, you know, hey, see, I said it again.
You did.
I did.
Love
it.
you.
I did it. We love you.
Bye.
We love you. Bye.
Yeah.
So, yeah, until next time.
Thank you.
And we will see you again on this show.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I will be back.
Until next time.
Yes.
All right.
Next time.
Thanks,
I bid you
guys,
adieu.
and see you soon. Bye.